What's up, guys? Adam of AS Trains here, and welcome to N-Scale Update number 3. It hasn't been too long since I posted update number 2, but since update number 2, almost immediately afterwards, I started buying a few more N-Scale items and also at the same time receiving a few more items. And today's date is August 11th, 2017, and I should mention that I also got a few more N-Scale items today, so I'll mention those when we get to them, but let's go ahead and take an overall shot at what to expect. Here you go. Well, there's part of it. The other part of it is over here. I'll touch on these last. So, I actually received a lot of good feedback from the last N-Scale video that I did, so I figured it's only right if I do another one, because, as I said, I've received quite a lot of new trains since then, and I feel that maybe you guys would like to see them. So we're going to start over here, make our way to the other side of the table where the tackle box is, and then we'll end over where those last few cars are. So first train is made by Kato. It's a Kato set, and this is the CB&Q EMD E5A and Silver Streak Zephyr 6 unit set. Now, although this is originally it was originally packaged as a 6-unit set, there's 2 extra slots here on the bottom, and according to the paperwork, it said you could fit another 2 engines in here, or you could fit 2 cars in here. Well, the previous owner that I got this from, he found the 2 extra cars and put them in. So now this is an 8-unit train, or yeah, an 8-unit set, engine, 7 cars. Very smooth running set. The engine is extremely quiet, and all the cars have interior lighting, which is a big plus. Next one down the line, you guys may recognize this one. That is an Athearn N-Scale BNSF SD75M, or at least that's what the box says. I actually did some research and found that unit 8284 is actually an SD75I. It's not a deal breaker for me because the SD70Ms, SD75Ms, and SD75Is, they used practically the same body shell, with only a few differences here and there. Next item is new. I just got it today in the mail. It is Fox Valley Models Florida East Coast ES44C4. This is number 804. As far as I know, it is DC only, or it might be DCC ready. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to possibly take the shell off and see if it's got a dummy plug, or if it's not even set up for DCC. That I'm not entirely sure. But one thing to note about these Fox Valley units is that they have an extra package for the grab irons, like for the ones that go on the nose. The nose does have the dimples for where you need to drill the holes and apply them. I'm not going to apply mine because I do not want to risk damaging my model, and to be honest, I've rarely ever noticed stuff like that. As long as if it has the detail, awesome. If not, that's not a deal breaker for me. Next engine, or the next few engines, you're going to recognize because I believe I did include them in update number 2. We got the 2 Atlas Florida East Coast units. There's a little bit of oil on that thing again. We got the GP40-2, which is DCC ready. The GP9, both the SW7s or SW9s or 1200s. It depends on what railroad bought what. Got the Florida East Coast version, Atlantic Coastline, and the last 3 are Atlas units. Got the SW1500s plus the FA1. These 3, as well as the BNSF, I've had. Well, these I've had since my childhood. These 3 right here. The BNSF I got when I was 13. I'm now 19, so that was, well, 6 years ago. Quite a long time ago. Next item is the new item number 2. This is the Kato Southern Pacific Line's Morning Daylight 10-car set, and it also comes with the Kato Unitrack to display the train. It is worth noting that both the Kato Silver Streak set and the Daylight passenger car set, they do have their boxes, but they are sitting out of shot. I did not want to have the back cases on, so then you wouldn't be able to see them. I felt it'd probably be better if you guys saw them so you can get a general idea as to what they look like. Contrary to the passenger cars in the Kato Silverstreak set, the Daylight passenger cars do not have lighting, but I believe they can be lit should the owner decide to. And I have a feeling, or I think I have a theory as to why Kato did not add lighting into these. The next engines, the Kato GS4s, which these are new, but I'll touch on these more in a second. These Kato GS4s were built to pull all 18 Daylight cars that Kato made. And I know exactly, these Silverstreak cars, in my hand, they feel a lot heavy because they have the light board in them. These, on the other hand, don't feel near as heavy. And I think that's the reason why these GS4s can haul them. Not only are they strong by themselves, but with these cars being as light as they are, these engines don't have much of a problem hauling all 18 cars, which looks pretty sweet in my opinion. I'm thinking about buying the whole 18 car set so then my new 4449 can pull it. So, now on to these two GS4s. The Daylight 4449 in the back is new. I got it in the same box along with the Kato 10 car set and the GEVO. It runs great, very nice smooth runner. All the lights work and there's no binds whatsoever. Right beside it, it's still a very new engine to my collection. It is the BNSF version of 4449. I bought this for $40. Yes, an astounding $40 at the 2017 NMRA convention in Orlando. The reason why I bought it for $40 is the seller told me that he says there's an internal problem. He says he has a big doubt it was the motor, but he doesn't know for sure, and just to ensure that I save my losses, he let me have it for cheap. I took it apart and I found that the original light board is a dud, so I am gonna have to buy a new one and replace it. But as far as operations go, the BNSF 4449 is a very smooth runner, and the fact I got it for $40, that's a hell of a steal. And being as that these GS4s tend to go between $200 to $300, it's obvious I have plenty of margin to work in and still come out on top. Next up, we have two Kato 282 Makatos. We have a Union Pacific and a Santa Fe. Cosmetically, these are virtually the same. In fact, this is a very universal tooling, and the only difference being the letters and numbering. These are DC, as opposed to these two Kato RS2s. These came with DCC, and they are both different numbers. You have number 2110, and then you have 2099. Very nice units, very powerful too. I like lashing these up to haul a freight train. Next up, we have two Lifelike units. Contrary to most of Lifelike's standard line of products in HO scale, most of their N scale items were surprisingly very nice and very affordable. Those two SW9s or SW1200s, depending on what railroad owned them, those two alone are very, very smooth runners. As with these two, well, at least I can say for the A unit, because the A unit is powered, the B unit is a dummy. Next up, we have two Minitrix Burlington Northern units. You have it's a U-boat. This is the U-boats. That's a particular one that I can get confused on, but it's a U-boat, very nice smooth runner. And this is a real engine, but I am not entirely sure what kind of engine that is. It's not an FP45. The FP45s had more squared off noses. This has more of a round nose. But either way, it's a very smooth running engine, very powerful too. Well, then we come to another Athearn. This is an SD70M, very smooth runner, and I like to run a Atlas GP15-1 with the CSX, or I also like to run it with my FEC GP40-2. And the reason why is proportions. Then we come to one of my favorite sets. This is a Kato Tri-Rail set. Now, I know the engine's Kato. I am not entirely sure about the cars. I want to say they're Kato as well because they have very fine details. But one thing that surprises me is how these cars have micro trains, trucks, and couplers. That that's very odd for me and almost unconventional for Kato. But I have a theory that maybe this was a train set, and to save cost for the budget-friendly modelers, they decided to put micro trains, trucks, and couplers, which are still very reliable in its own way. Coming down, we have a set of ER models, Pennsylvania RF-16s, and A and B. Very nice smooth runners. However, I wish these things would go a little faster. At full speed, these things are still extremely slow. So I'm maybe going to have to replace some gearing, or just I'm going to have to deal with it. Chances are I'm just going to have to deal with it. Then we come to another Atlas. This is what I believe to be either a GP7 or a GP9, and it is the Demonstrator number 100. Then we come to another Mini Trix. This is an 060, based off the Pennsylvania B6 with the classic turtleback tender. Very smooth runner for an engine of this size. Next one is a Proto Heritage 080, decorated for Indiana Harbor Belt, DCC equipped. Then we come to a Spectrum 280 consolidation. This is Seaboard Airline number 914. This is, to me, from research, this is probably a very desired model because this is so far the only Seaboard 280 I've seen in N scale. This one is also DCC equipped. Another Spectrum engine. In fact, actually, I'll go ahead and summarize. These two are also both of these are Spectrum, and both of these are DCC equipped. We got the USRA Light Mountain, Illinois Central 2981. And then we have a classic Chesapeake and Ohio H4 1397. Now from here on out, it's going to be nothing but rolling stock. We have some micro trains still in their boxes. These 3 boxcars and these 2 tankers. Trying to block out that light. Those are micro trains. And we have some model power. Now I will go ahead and say this. I've had some people ask me, are model power N scale trains, are they worth buying? My answer, yes. They are very nice for the money. A lot of times they're very smooth runners, and their cars, although they may not be as detailed as micro trains, they are still plenty nice. And I've had plenty of enjoyment with these cars. None of these have ever given me any problems. And if given the chance, I'd buy some more if I could find some more with more desirable schemes. And the last car is a Bachmann Silver Series Cookie Box, Denver and Rio Grande. This is a very nice car. Now we come to the big tackle box. Most of this stuff is made by microtrains with maybe a few others mixed in. We have a whole line of cabooses. Most of these are corresponding cabooses to most of my steamers. I know I have a Union Pacific, that's this one, that's obvious. I have a Seaboard, Illinois Central, a Chesapeake and Ohio, and there's 2 more in here that don't go to anything. There's a Pennsylvania, and then that's the Santa Fe, that goes to my Mikado. And I have a Rock Island, which I don't have any Rock Island power, but that doesn't matter to me. And I have plenty of box cars. I got a flat car with a big engine load. Very interesting car. Some more box cars. There's some different models in here. Pennsylvania passenger cars. I'm sure you know what these go to. And these are made by River Aussie. I have a little selection of these are box cars or freight cars that have the Rapido couplers, and these are set aside for the units right over there, the FA1, the SW9s, and the SW1500, plus the GP9, because they have the old school Rapido couplers. Then we come to, that's an FEC hopper. I need to do some minor work to that. There's some details missing, but I can easily make them out of wire. And we come to more micro trains. A good majority of the rolling stock in here is made by micro trains. And I can't say enough about them. Micro Trains is an amazing company, along with Kato. So we got the hoppers, plethora of tank cars, and a plethora of reefer cars. So that covers that. Now if we come over here, we come to some pretty interesting cars. The first 2, I don't know who made these. I want to say maybe Atlas or Kato. And I used to think that these are auto rack cars, but I can safely say they're not. Being as that they bear the Florida East Coast logo, I'm beginning to think that maybe these are either aircraft carrier cars, or they might be space. They could be space cars, you know, for carrying space equipment or something like that. In fact, if there's anybody out there, whoever watches this video, if you actually know what these cars are, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd like to know what kind of cars these are. But I like to run these with my tri-level auto rack cars. All these are a mix of AHM and microtrains. No, not microtrains, AHM and Atlas. And they all look roughly the same. There's only a few in here that have minor differences. So it's a very interesting train. This is one train that, believe it or not, gets a lot of attention, more so than something like my Tri-Rail. But I'm sure my Silver Streak, which, well, I've actually ran the Silver Streak already, and that turned some heads. But I can't wait to get that one on the track, as well as the two GS4s, because that'll be one of the smartest trains I've ever seen run on the club layout. Alright, so I'll give you guys one quick look at this, and then one more overall look at this. I never thought in my life I'd ever have this much N scale, and nor did I ever think I'd be so interested in N scale that I'd want to continue to buy more. I certainly have more engines and cars that I want to get, but of course my primary scale is HO. I'm not giving up the HO. At the moment I'm actually taking more of a break, because some of the latest HO scale projects I've been dealing with, they have induced a bit of stress. And it's kind of funny because model railroading is a hobby to relieve you of stress, but there's going to be times where it's going to induce stress, and when that happens, maybe just put the project down and do something else. Maybe touch on this, which is certainly what I've been doing. Alright. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed update number 3. I do apologize if maybe I was rambling on a little too much, but I wanted to give a basic description of each piece in case maybe there's someone out there who might find this video for inspiration or reference. Like maybe you saw something that you'd like to get, you know, hey, if that's the case, then I'm glad I helped. So yeah, that's about it. Of course, this is not going to be the end of my N-scale collecting. As I said, there's still plenty of stuff I'm after. And if you're probably wondering, like, well, what's a few items you're looking for? Well, the Daylight set, both the engine and the cars, that was a big thing scratched off my list, as well as the BNSF 4449. If there's any other GS4s I'm looking for, it is the Southern Pacific GS4 number 4431. That's the one that has the it has the skirts taken off, and also it has a different road number. That's the version I'm looking for. And the other one is the American Freedom Train number 4449. So those are the main two I'm after now. I have heard through the grapevine that there's actually another Daylight GS4 out there, number 4453. How do I know this? Well, part of it I discovered by SCL 3618. He actually did a review on 4453, and so I'm thinking of maybe getting that one too, so then I have a partner for my Daylight 4449. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, and if you want to, subscribe. That's it for now. I'm Adam Swindell, and I shall see you next time.